Are you still getting feedback?
Nope. I muted my volume.
Are you gonna wear that? Work today? Am I okay now? How do I know? Oh, my mic is off. Where do I do all that? My camera's on. My mic is muted.
Probably have to come back from the other, so
maybe
you can lower the mic more often. Hello? Is it me?
Did you say something? I don't know. I didn't even say anything. It just happened. What does he want to do? Oh yeah, just hit.
Say that again? So you guys muted your mics, right? How it sounds on here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ask you to join the large group. So we're operating under a little bit different system here today in terms of microphones in the room as well as our online presence. We're using a combination of Google Hangouts as well as YouTube to try and stream this live to our friends who can't join us in person. So bear with us. Things like that. That's great. That's a great time. Yeah, so bear with us as things might be a little bit off in that respect, but hopefully we'll troubleshoot those as we go. So this is not for the room, right? This is just for So we'll have to use our loud teacher voices this morning in our meeting, just so we can make sure everybody can hear. So we'll start with a real quick welcome and introductions around the room. So first of all, welcome to this beautiful Rick Hansen School in Peel, and thank you for the team from Peel for hosting us. It's a nice school, and you can feel the energy when you walk in this room. You can feel the energy amongst us. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of positivity, and it's always great to join together and get together and feed off that energy. And we're talking about, like, down the hall, the students are probably they're writing EQAO tests right now, and they may not have as much energy as us, but hopefully they're having the same positive experiences that we are. Exactly, yeah.
They felt all the math wisdom walking
That's
past.
right. Yeah.
Rubbing off.
Send it down.
Good karma for Rick Hansen.
Yeah. So again, welcome to our final meeting for the 2015-16 school year. Again, thank you for those who have been able to join us, even if it's your first meeting today or throughout the entire school year for our meetings. I always look forward to these opportunities to get together and share and learn with all of you. So thanks for joining. Brief introduction. My name is Dan Allen. I am a consultant with Durham Catholic and president of OMCA. No.
Chad Richard, consultant with Durham Catholic as well, and VP.
Hi everyone, I'm Tina Grandy. I'm the secretary, the one who constantly sends you all those emails. And there's going to be a couple more today. I did send one recently with the math problem because my printer wouldn't work last night. And I'm going to be sending you another one for the roundtable sharing later today. So have that handy because we're going to be using Google Docs to share our thinking on that. I hope can you all hear me in the back? Is that all right? Yeah, cool. Thank you. Oh, and I'm with Peel. Sorry, I'm with Peel and I'm a math resource teacher with Peel. Not having a great morning, my apologies. And the washrooms are down the hall just past the stairs on your left. It'll say staff washroom on there.
Hello everybody, I'm Mark Baumeister from Dufferin Peel, and I'm in the treasurer position. That's it. I'm having a good morning.
Maybe
And then
start over here. Again, yeah.
Nice and loud.
Yeah, nice and loud for.
Trying to do this without throwing the microphone all around.
Hey, I'm Stephanie Mitchell. I'm with Thames Valley.
Bill Nediger, Thames Valley. Chris Silcox, Thames Valley.
Anne Pijon, Thames Valley. I'm Barb Staten. I'm a provincial math professional learning facilitator.
I'm Craig Featherstone. I'm with the Ministry of Keeping Officer. I'm Peter Wright. I just work now with Bronco.
I am Alison McCauley, and I'm with the Ministry of Education in my curriculum and assessment policy branch.
Hi, I'm Mary Ann Moser. I'm also the student achievement officer.
My name is Mike Jacobs. I'm a consultant with Durham Catholic.
Peter Saranaki, NCSM Provincial Representative for Ontario. Thank you, Lisa, for my new name.
Good morning, Mike Davis, retired from the Hope District School Board.
Sandra Pierce from Simcoe County District School Board. I'm instructional assessment facilitator in assessment program.
Kevin Williams, consultant for Dufferin Peel Catholic.
Dairy instructional program leader as well. Phyllis Brower, Peel Catholic.
Sharman House. What Barb said.
Eric Tucker. Eric Tucker, consultant district school board of Niagara.
Lisa Sertan, consultant for district school board of Niagara. Ashley Moore, consultant for Deborah Sachi, consultant. Trish Williams, Gary, consultant. Heather Farrell, consultant, LKDSD.
Good morning. My name is Blake Stead. What Barb said.
Dan Peter, me too.
Mark Ilchishin, Michael Brady, Peel, and Secretary.
Agnes Craft and Provincial Math League.
Trish Steele, Education Officer.
Mark Swolski, Provincial Math League.
Ross Eisner, Provincial Math League.
Greg Clark, Provincial Math League.
Mary Fiore, Field District School Board.
Mark Vansack, Toronto Catholic.
Margaret Quinn, Toronto Catholic.
Michael Skripek, Grant Haldeman, Norfolk Catholic.
Marshall Kelka, Field District School Board Resource Teacher.
Mike Seacard, independent consultant.
Hello. Matt Aldridge, Field Resources.
Just so we're clear, that wasn't part of our tech issues here.
Fabio.
Oh, Fabio, yeah.
Maria Ignacio, Dufferin Field Catholic consultant.
Yeah, again,
New names.
it's been a great year for attendance for OMCA meetings, and again, that was one of the conversations we had at this time last year, was making the meetings relevant and useful to the job that we do. And so, thanks for coming and thanks for being part of these meetings. I looking online here, and I have no idea. It says we have 4 viewers, and I've asked them in the chat who they are, and I don't know who they are. So, we could be doing all this for nothing, but we don't know. Anyway, we'll broadcast it out there and hopefully that's fun. We'll see how it all plays out. So there could be some people online, maybe not. That's number 1 our agenda. Next up is the adoption of the agenda. So I'll look for someone to put forward the motion to adopt the agenda. Twice dead. And to second the motion to adopt the agenda, Kevin? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And the next piece on our agenda is the adoption of the April 2016 minutes. So again, I'm looking for someone to put forward the motion to adopt the April 2016 meetings. Peter, start right. And second that motion, anyone? I'll jump once apart. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, business arising out of the minutes. And again, seeing none, we're going to move into our next piece of the agenda. So on to OMCA business. Again, these are going to be, for me anyway, relatively brief. First things first, you noticed in the table when you came in, there were little stacks of paper. So we've talked a lot this year, and we actually had Dr. Christine Sertan join us in one of our fall sessions and discuss the OAME, OMCA Grade 9 Applied Math Project. These flyers were printed off ahead of the OAME conference and given out to delegates there. I just wanted to let you know that we've extended the deadline for registrations to June 15th. And so take these back to your schools. Please take like more than one and distribute them to people who you think maybe haven't heard of this initiative. I know it's been named and identified as one of the supports for the renewed math strategy. It's going to be fantastic professional learning for the teams that are going to be involved with it. And in terms of bang for your buck, $200 for a school team to attend, and that includes your accommodations, the professional learning, your food. It's an incredible deal. Also, the ministry has announced that the schools, the secondary schools that qualify as one of the few schools, they'd be one of your schools in greatest need, they actually qualify for full subsidizing of this event. They wouldn't have to pay the $200. So put a team together, get the information into teachers' hands. If you think that you may have a team, but it doesn't quite fit the requirements of what has been laid out, so if you've got maybe having a hard time getting an administrator on board, I know that's been a lot of schools, my suggestion is to put as much of a team together as you can and get that application in, and then maybe, hopefully, that team can attend. That'd be my recommendation in terms of like, I know I've gotten some emails and people have asked, can I put a team together if I can't find an administrator? Email Kay Appleby, her contact information is on that flyer. Ask her, but the the best thing you can do at this point is put together whatever kind of a team you've got at this point, put the request in, because if you don't put the request in, then you definitely won't get in. But if you do put it in and you meet enough requirements, then you'll be able to join. But it's going to be a great session. It's August 22nd, 23rd in Toronto. And then separate from that, a different one, August 24th, 25th in London. So you would attend either the Toronto session or the London session, or if you really love Math PD and want to see it twice, you could do both. But I've done some work with the steering committee on this, and with the school teams, and they've got a lot of information to share and a lot of great learning. And the nice thing about doing work like this in August as a school team is when you hit the classroom in September, you're already into your PD, everybody knows what's going to be happening, and you hit the ground running, as opposed to waiting until mid-September or early October to kind of start school improvement initiatives. This is going to be a great way to kind of get a head start on some of that work that you do with your teams. The other piece I've got is that we're still accepting nominations for secretary position for OMCA. So I'll tell you firsthand that being involved with this team as vice president and now president has been a tremendous area of professional growth for myself, and I've really enjoyed working with them. And I can't speak highly enough about it. So if it's something you think you may be interested in, definitely put your name forth. It's a great opportunity. It's great to make connections, and it's just great learning, for the participants that join up. So if you're interested in that, please put your name forward. And in terms of OMCA business for me, that's pretty much it. So I'll pass along to Chad.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So the only OMCA business that I have to share is I've started putting the wheels in motion for preparing for our OMCA retreat next year. We are pretty much confirmed that we're going to have Peg Smith be our facilitator. She, I think, is the co-author of the 5 Practices for Orchestrating Mathematical Conversations. The date she's available is February 9th and 10th, so if that's something you want to put in your calendar, that is likely the date of our OMCA retreat. We typically try to tie that retreat around Family Day weekend. That way, if people want to stay where the retreat is being hosted, they could. But the date we were able to confirm with Peg was the 9th and 10th. Wheels are. I've been doing some investigating as per location. There are several locations we're considering, but all that will probably be shared with you in our September meeting, and we'll likely be able to start advertising and accepting registrations for that retreat at that point. But just to let you know that is in the works, and we're hoping to have that sort of buttoned up and ready to go early, so that you can spend the better part of the fall either registering or advertising and getting ready to do that learning in February. So February 9th and 10th, 2017 date. If you want to mark it off in your calendar, we are looking forward to a great retreat and some great learning.
Just to tag on to that too, I know a lot of the teams at that OAME, OMCA Grade 9 Math Project have used the 5 Practices book as a book study, as a resource in a lot of the work, and a lot of teachers have been using that resource as well. So bringing Peg in to kind of facilitate some of that learning with us in person is going to be a great opportunity, and I anticipate this one will fill up pretty quickly. So when the information does come in the fall, make sure you act fast if you want to get school teams together to attend, because it's going to be fairly popular.
Yep. And yeah, that's it.
Me? Okay. We're going to try to share my screen and see how that works, so that I can give you a little bit more detailed recap of the budget for the year.
I've got it on my screen here.
Nice and dark. That's good.
You're nice and brushed her down.
This is also in the OMCA members folder on the Google Drive, so you can go back and review if you want to take a look later. But just a year in review, we started the year with a budget that was based around building the membership. It's not even up on screen anymore, so I'm just going to talk to it. Claudio gets it up. Fabulous. If not, I'm not going to worry too much. We had budgeted and planned to try to get 85 members, and we wound up with 87, so we did very well there. And that's about all I have to mention for our revenue. Our revenue streams, all of them kind of exceeded our expectations by a little bit. And then we broke our budget down into 4 categories. The first category, and probably the most important, is our membership development category. Well, you can't really read it on screen, but if you do look later on, you might notice that we wound up spending more on our membership meetings than we had anticipated spending by a good amount. And we were sort of talking about it and saying, well, what happened? I looked in a more detailed way, and I found out that we didn't really spend more per person on any one of our meetings this year than in any years in the past. We're just having more people, which is fantastic. There's no way we can complain about our spending increasing because everybody's coming. That's obviously a good sign for us. We also, well, there we go, now we're looking a little brighter. So I'll just tip that back a little bit. I might also mention that we had budgeted $2,500 for professional development, but we only spent about $1,600 of that. So that kind of made up for where we spend a lot on lunch. Shall I phrase that as they found us excellent professional development at a reasonable price? Let me put it that way. Our retreat turned out, I think, a little bit better than all of us expected in terms of the revenue that we brought in from the retreat. It was close to about 40,000, whereas the cost for the retreat was only about 36. So we managed to make up some of our shortfalls there as well. Speaking to the OMCA online initiatives, are we going to show any of the website today?
Yeah, so Sean King, who is our web developer, is going to be joining us after lunch. I guess people have received emails yesterday inviting them to a website. Okay, good. So accounts have been created, and if you didn't get one, it's okay. We'll get that figured out today too. But we have a new OMCA website that we're going to unveil after lunch. So again, that was an initiative discussed early in the fall and kind of was developed over the winter, and so we're just now ready to unveil it and use it a little bit. So you will see the new website. Or if you haven't had a chance to click into the link and play around with it at all at this point, it's pretty slick when you go back and forth between omca.ca and the new web address and compare the two. It's pretty nice. So hopefully we find it useful.
From my side of things, it kind of looks like we have underspent on that, but we haven't. We just haven't finished paying for it yet, so a bit more expense on that in the summer. It will come out pretty close to on budget. And the only other thing to mention is that our last category was governance, the cost of actually running ourselves, and that pretty much stayed within budget and cost us about 5% of our total operating budget, a little under 5%. And as of today, our budget had projected about 9,000 of our savings used up throughout the year, but as of today, we're sitting at around 1,300, 1,400 of our savings used up, and we'll spend about maybe 2,500 more before the end of the year, mostly paying for that website. So we'll be slightly under our predicted budget. And that's about it for me. If there's any questions about the budget, or if you want to see the books, of course, the books are again posted on our Google account, so you can look at them anytime you want, or just come and ask.
Well done.
All done.
Well done.
Over to you.
Over to me. Okay, not much as well. I will like to start with, in case you haven't heard, we do need a new secretary for our executive. As I will be moving on to the VP role next year, very excited about that. Fine, the only other thing I really need to share will be our meeting dates for next year. We haven't necessarily confirmed them with us. We're having our executive meeting in a week or two to end the year and to really think about next year. But I will be sharing with you in the email that's coming out in a little bit with our roundtable sharing links to the Google Drive. I'm going to share the proposed dates that we have for next year, saying it will be Thursdays, about 2 weeks into the month, so that you can volunteer to be hosts like we did last year and pick a date that you think you may want to be a part of. You would probably be able, I'm not sure if I've shared it, the link, I'll have to check whether you can go in and actually edit it and add yourself in there. Might be easier just to email me and I can add it in there, because I don't know if I have editing rights given to everyone on that link, but I will check. So have a chat with your school teams if you have them here and think about whether you would be willing to host one of our meetings next year. It's relatively straightforward for those that have done it. It's a lot of fun being the host because you get to have a little bit of input into the problem we do, and you also have some input into the roundtable sharing discussions that happen on that day as well. Okay, that's it for me. Really brief executive kind of table meeting today because I think we've got a couple of interesting things coming forward with our roundtable discussion and our website, and of course our little end of year kind of summary and presentations and so on. And a group hug. Dan needs that, I think, today. Maybe I do, because it's my morning sector. Okay.
All right. Thank you. And we'll move on to our third point agenda, reports and updates. And we'll start with our friends from the Ministry of Education. Any reports or updates?
So the others will project your page or here or something. One of the things that we wanted you to be aware of is the BPM 159 and how much that actually impacts all of us with the work that we're going forward with at the ministry, working with the school boards within your schools. Are you familiar with the BPM 159? Did you see the notification came out? So this is on the ministry website, EduGov. You can Google it. I don't know if you want to spend a little bit of time to look at it, to think about what is its implications to you as a team. So what it is called collaborative professionalism, and about all voices being heard. And in terms of, I think it's really important as we move forward with implementing the reading math strategy that your voices are heard. And in terms of, even as a membership of OMCA, it'll be also important as you go through the next 3 years to be able to, periodically bring forward any of your questions, concerns, comments, suggestions, because it's through your voice that is going to make a difference. So when, it's always like, be careful what you wish for. And that didn't have its focus point, now it does. And so your voices are going to become that much more important as we move forward, because this is about everybody's voice. And so in terms of what within the branch, or whatever that, most of you may be aware that I have replaced Myrna in her position. And at that time, it was only really Myrna leading the province in terms of working with mathematics. That's not the case anymore. And so I'm one small voice. Connie's a co-partner with me in terms of within that unit. Now it's a collective. And so when you're working with collaboration, it's good, but some things will be slower. And so in terms of some of the co-partners here today are Allison and Craig, but in terms of that, there's multiple people beyond even us in terms of to collaborate with to move forward. So So for us, it's not really about a report time as we move forward, as opposed to an opportunity for dialogue. And one of the things that might be helpful for us is if there's certain questions that you want us to be prepared to come with, right? So in terms of, like, for us to have conversation around. So we may have some knowledge around it, or it might be something that we have to seek some knowledge around to be able to have, like, to be part of that conversation. Does that make sense? So we don't have all the answers in, well, I shouldn't say I ever had all the answers before, but we have less now.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions.
Lots of questions. So in terms of even within our needs, and for us even as education officers, how our role is morphing and changing to support, but it's all centered around that PPM. So in terms of what comes out of that, in terms of as moving forward with it. So I think it's really important to bring your attention to that. So we will venture forward in terms of still sharing. The unit that I'm responsible with is around the resources. So in terms of what we can share at the times that we come is around the resources that you've been working on. I don't know if you've been on EduGains within the last month or a couple of weeks, but I can't find anything. We adjusted the classroom educator page so that the first page that you walk in on is very close to the classroom level. So in terms of lessons, or in terms of the gap closing resources and things like that. The second page of classroom practices is a little bit more removed from the classroom, but in terms of informing some of your practice in support. So there's some board stories even within there of sharing, how they need to use the interactive at that point in time. So it's been rejigging that site as we move forward. So so just in terms of that, but we can also continue to share with them things. Allison and Craig, do you want to share anything else? So just know, even in terms of the uncertainty for us as well, of in terms of what does professional learning look like, is based on what is actually requested from the boards. And so in terms of, we don't have any plans because it has to come technically from you before we can move forward on some things. So so I'm interested in the conversations that we're going to have this afternoon, but also in terms of knowing as we go forward how important it is for us to continue that dialogue, but also in terms of those questions that you would like us to be able to have a little bit of guidance and support with, and that would be important.
I'm just thinking aloud here about that new website that we're going to have has a forum. So if one of those forum posts could be history of that questions, or and provide that to my cutoff dates that would become meeting and we would like to address.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Just killing time. All right. No, okay, yes, that's great. Thanks for that. Actually, thanks for the opportunity to learn some of that too, because I know when same thing is true, when we go into schools to work, if the schools don't own that learning, then it's not their thing. So I think that's going to be true of us too, like honors the work that we've been doing, but then still a lot of support. So thank you about that. OMCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I can speak a little bit to that. A little bit. So I was one of the Greg Clark. I was one of the co-chairs for OMCA 2016, and I'd like to thank all of you who were there and part of that experience in May. It turned out to be a fantastic conference. From my point of view, things went really smoothly. The 3 years of preparation finally paid off, and I have enjoyed some free time actually the last few weeks. So I'm enjoying that. My co-chair was Bruce Mackay, who you all know very well and has been here at every meeting except this one. Supporting you folks out as well, or supporting us out. I'm a member of OMCA as well. But you'll be happy to know a well-deserved holiday. And he's right now in the middle of a canoe trip in Yukon and disconnected from everything. And he's not checking the YouTube channel, I can guarantee you. He worked tirelessly, and really we owe him a great debt of gratitude for all the details that he kept us in line, right, Sandra?
Oh, yeah. Amazing leadership.
Thank you very much. You know, it really was a team effort, and we've had over 300 workshops. We had more keynotes and featured speakers than we could actually schedule one per time slot. So we had a wealth of information. Marianne Langer was our e-conference co-chair, and we had an expanded e-conference this year with more options than we've ever had before. And over a two-day event, e-conference instead of just the single event. So that was amazing. During the actual conference itself, we had one workshop presenter who couldn't get board funding to come down to Barrie. So he presented from his classroom in Uppsala in a totally different time zone. And he connected via Google Hangout and presented to a room full of teachers in Barrie at Georgian College, and that was another first that we had. Overall, between all of our delegates, attendees, organizers, and presenters, we had over 1,700 people involved. And it went great, and thank you very much for all the work and help that you guys gave us. Thanks. Next year it'll be Kingston. St. Lawrence College.
Thank you for all the work. I know from the school teams that I work with and people that I cross paths with across thank you all of us for the your work you did. Pass it along to them as well. NCSM, any updates?
Hopefully, as you're aware, OMCA is an affiliate of NCSM, and actually the new webpage, the website that's in there, has a link to NCSM, and on that, through that link, then you can find out information about what we're promoting to North America at large. So there's a page for our affiliate, and it has a very lovely picture of Mike Davis on that page, and gives information about the executive here and connections. And there's also then the link to the Shining the Limelight on the affiliate. So in fact, recently in the NCSM journal, then there was a write-up on what OMCA does and what our values are and so on. So that's promoting it to the leaders in North America. And also on that, there's a link to the Canadian regional director, who's Mark Arnault out in BC. And so he regularly, we have directors across the country, and we meet on e-conferences every once in a while to discuss what's going on. So he reports on the things that are going on across Canada that we're attempting to do. And one of the things that I mentioned beforehand, that we have submitted a request through him to NCSM for the translation of some of their recent position papers into French. Because as I mentioned before, NCSM membership in Canada is about 90, and 2/3 of those are in Ontario. And of those 2/3, half of them are Francophone. And besides, we have members in Quebec, several members in Quebec, French and English. So with that setup, we realize that we have members who would benefit by, and so that request has gone through, and hopefully that will be a summer project that will produce some documents that can be shared. And so I've actually been invited to AFEMO to their conference in the fall, the French equivalent of OME. So those are things that are going on. And of course, recently there was the NCSM annual conference, and Lisa was there, and enjoyed herself. She had a wonderful session. What did you think? And as before, I mentioned that when any of you get the opportunity to attend an out-of-town, out-of-province conference, to consider not just NCTM, but in fact, first of all, NCSM. And if you have questions, talk to Lisa and myself and find out more about it, because it is well worthwhile, and it certainly fits the job descriptions that we have here at OMCA in terms of support, as opposed to OAB, which provides lovely resources for teachers, but is not designed to produce support for consultant coordinators. So that's it.
Okay, so we've come down to our roundtable discussion portion today. I think that this is a conversation that's been on a lot of people's minds the last 6 weeks or so. Okay, so Peter just emailed out a link to a Google Doc. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the 2 separate Google Docs. We're going to ask you to have a bit of a roundtable discussion around 2 pieces. The first one was, what are the board's initial planning for the reduced math strategy look like for the 2016-17 school year? And then the second part of that is ideas for engaging non-math secondary teachers during a numeracy PA, which I know is always a point of conversation. You're talking about numeracy days, what about people who are math. So that's always a point of conversation with you. So 2 separate Google Docs. Again, take some table time. You gotta maybe speak through these conversations, and then go to that Google Doc and upload some of your ideas, some of your thoughts here. You know that, again, we're all working towards the same goals here, and it's nice to kind of not have to reinvent the wheel. We see that they're working effectively, with the boards or other ideas. We've got until 11:30 in total. Lunch is 11:30 today, so maybe we'll take 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes to have a table conversation, and then upload some of your responses to Google Docs, and then we'll come back together and all these things.
I can't, not off the top of my head, but check the remember list. We have
Ladies and gentlemen, so in the first email that you got, there's two Google Doc links, but they both lead to the same Google Doc. So I just sent another email that actually leads to the other Google Doc. They don't lead to the same Google Doc. They don't? No, they have the wrong title. They have the wrong title. So that's okay when they talk about. Mike Jacobs told me they both led to the same one. So Mike Jacobs is now banned in the group. Who's that great? Nobody. Still need a secretary. You all agree with that.
I can be in twice as my iPad and my computer.
Okay. But and you unmiked it? Okay, so I'm gonna close.
How are you?
Remember we thought this is
The problem is my Google.
Yeah. No, but you created that about 2-3 years Here, let me just hear, bro. Wait a second.
It'd be kind of cool if we just got some of those things that will hold. Mike. Unmuted, I think.
I know what it is.
Is my microphone on? Or am I muted? Okay, wait. Just flipped over to it. That's on. That's on. Was it on before? There we go. Hello, hello, hello. Now you got me. Mic check. Mic check. Mic. Hold on, we're having some sound trouble. Wait, before you speak, can you speak in the microphone, please? I see your phone on there because I want to put it on the back end. Put on the case.
Yeah, I have that on mute now.
Well, if you close the lid, else you're gonna kill.
First, I want to see how this is there. So how's there? Good.
Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, it's good. That's good. You're right. It sounds a little digital.
In terms of
That's where I'll see
In terms of the importance of the area, they're big things. That way there's that within that we can focus on context, but
I would like
big
it.
idea that's relevant to that safety. Across, right, so we're gonna talk about problem solving. I can use that in geography science. I'm gonna talk about balance and stuff here. I can also apply that. It's really important to have everyone sort of buy into that teachers who don't teach math still have a place. Right, so a French teacher, a French teacher would say, well, I don't teach math, so what is this? That's everyone would say, right? That if you practice math assessment for now, you're observation.
Oh, thank you. Give them a conversation.
could be professional learning, and another afternoon could be sharing best practices.
Well, even if it's not a whole afternoon.
No, just
thing,
a half an
even
hour.
if it's like 15, 20 minutes
Yeah.
in the morning, and then there's
So I appreciate that. Was there anything that people, any aha moments or anything that people sort of wanted to share a whole group that you didn't use it? Or that good, well, again, hopefully, also, make sure you identify if you just leave it on those Google Docs, Word, only because if someone wants to follow that in the future, they don't know who to contact for that information.
Dan, would it be appropriate right now to comment?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So I've had a couple of people ask, if this is the renewed math strategy, what was the first math strategy? And this is just my interpretation, so in terms of to maybe help and support a little bit around if you get asked that question. So prior to this year, the ministry had given funding to federations to be able to put on some professional learning. Plus also they funded some AQ courses. So that was kind of in the last, and it was called Math Strategy, or Math Action Plan versus Math Strategy. So information on the government site actually would talk about some of those Math Action Plans. So because they changed the language, so there wasn't in terms of funding, that's kind of where the funding was more put on, and the fact that Mary Jean Gallagher went across to all of the different regions and said, you know, math is the focus. So those were kind of like, that was the strategy or the action plan with a certain degree of other little components. So I'm going to say, like, that to me is now how it's being upped or changed in terms of the funding has been reallocated to support the mathematics. And if that's of any help.
Thank you. So any other pieces of feedback around either the renewed math strategy planning or the secondary math PAs? All right. Well, we're going to jump down to item D after lunch. Very happy to have Sean. Sean is with Memorial, and we contracted him in the fall to develop and host a new web space for OMCA. So we're very excited to be able to go through and have Sean illustrated, highlight some of the features of the website, the access points that you'll be able to do for us. If you want to navigate to that site, we weren't able to use the URL OMCA.ca. There was a bit of a logistics issue around login credentials and many emails and phone calls. The long first story is that the renewal on OMCA.ca had been paid for up until 2017. And when that does expire, we may have the opportunity to use it again because 4-letter URLs are very difficult to come by. But instead, in place of that website will actually exist as long as there's a server in 2006 post. But OMCA.website is going to be the new web space. And what you'll notice when you log into it is that, first of all, there are many features to it. Second of all, if you log into it on a phone or a tablet or a laptop, it's pretty slick. And maybe I'll let Sean speak a little bit to it.
Just one thing, I just sent out an email with that website in there. If you didn't get an email with login information for that, please let us know at some point today. And I've also got a Google Doc there for you to share any feedback or suggestions as we go through, or as Sean goes through the website for you.
So, first and foremost, I'd like to thank Dan for the opportunity to work with the organization on this site. When I first started, I had this great spreadsheet with suggestions from everybody on what they'd like to see on the website. So I tried to take all those things and incorporate them into this portal. So what you'll find is that Unlike the old site, there's a lot of functionality here, a lot of interaction that can happen with this site. It's really a very easy way for everyone to kind of stay in touch, pass ideas and communicate. So hopefully you guys find it as easy to navigate. I just want to stress that even though it's ready for launch, there might be some bugs. So if anyone notices anything, I guess we're starting a Google document. So please, let me know if something doesn't work for you or something doesn't work right. I've tested this on all kinds of browsers and mobile devices, but I don't have everything, so I may have missed something. But I think for the most part, it's going to perform and work very well. So yesterday, I took the membership roster, and everyone's email was there, so I did a mass upload into the site. So technically speaking, everyone that's on that membership roster should have an account already set up and ready to go. I believe you will be getting access to that today, so we'll be able to log in and feel free to take a first spin. I'm just going to give you my fingers. Okay, perfect. So just kind of scroll down a little bit, maybe I'll just. So this is actually the site in mobile view. So it'll format. So I just there's some links here to things that were on the old site. She's just a stock photo. I'm trying to find someone, reasonably represent a teacher, so to speak. That's what I found. Anybody like mom? So that is just an obvious link. Now, something about this area here, we can have this content always changing. So if there's something that you want to link to, like an event or something that's happening, maybe specific news related to your industry, we can always have that there, and it will just kind of rotate so that you get a sense of what's happening. Here's your vision and your mission statement, and keep going. So this is where new members, and I guess everyone here is a member, but new prospects. So all I've done is I've taken the paper application, I've virtualized it, and now a new member will go to Mark. Okay. It's going to go to him, he's going to vet the process, receive payment, and then send back a approve. Here's your application, your membership information, and then the user will access all the hidden areas of the site. Okay.
So we also talked about Sean too. Dan and I met with Sean. We talked about how that almost would be the incentive to getting that payment in, so that it unlocks a lot of the features on the website. Whereas in the past, that might have been a struggle to sort of see that.
So question with that, so in terms of would you be locked out after the year though?
No, we actually don't have anything like that in place. There is that possibility, but just because of the way that memberships, like a typical membership site is locked down based on payments, but that's payments received online. Because we're not receiving the payments online, it probably would not be beneficial to do it that way. Just because, I understand from speaking to the gentleman here that a lot of the memberships are paid by school boards and things like that. So there may be a little delay in getting the payments in. So we thought maybe it's better just to not incorporate that aspect to the site.
It's sort of a digital version of you handing him that piece of paper. We'll be able to at the back end, or he'll be able to at the back end say, yes, you are granted access, even though the payment may not be to at that time. We've always kind of done that way, and that's good. We had a conversation about going with kind of an online payment system, but I think some of these school boards are still in that, like, how you check that. We decided not to use it at this time, but it could.
So here are your supporters with the various logos of the organization. That is Latin, obviously. Shouldn't be there. I did have to restore the site last night, so that's a quick mental note to self. Then here's your footer where you log in, your Twitter feed, and then obviously you can see who's online and upcoming events. So that really encompasses the homepage of the website. There are some areas that are not visible unless you're logged in, and things like, you know, having access to the Google Drive, you know, the forums. Those are only available to you when you're signed into the website.
Maybe you said this already. How do we get our password?
Good afternoon, staff and students. This time now we're going to start the tutorials for period 1 tutorial at 12:30, and the next tutorial will be at 1 o'clock for period 2.
So basically, everyone, there's a list that's been, so I know Tina has it. So everyone will be getting their passwords. I don't know exactly the distribution of that, but it is all set up.
Okay.
The email came from Sean at WebWorld.
Yes, that would be me.
Oh, we have an email.
Yeah, so when everyone was, when the list was added, everybody was sent an email saying, hey, you know, sign
We were
up.
just looking for our email, we didn't find it, so maybe it's in our trash. Oh, could have been. Could have been.
Do a search for OMCA website.
Yes, it's very easy.
It won't let you right now. Because you can't change your password right now, because it's under construction.
Okay. Okay, so I'll unlock that.
1312, yes.
So we can actually, we want to sign in with, well, yes.
So if I have your Ontario, that's easy.
Does anybody else in the room need to answer this today?
Very good.
Somebody not able to log in, I can imagine why that would be.
So
Everyone's bullish, it don't make sense.
Listen, it took you one of our calls.
Google is like. Google is. I'm not sure why. Because I
Oh, I did.
Are we
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So, who has managed to log in?
Leaves versus haves.
So let me just explain leaves versus haves.
There we go.
So, testing out forum functionality. One of the things that it was create a test forum, and like, you know, it just so happened that there was a Sportsnet article, and that's where that came from. I promise you that. Unless you want to.
Yep.
So yesterday,
Just, you said it was yesterday?
So this is an example of your profile. So when you logged in, and you, in the right-hand corner, there's a nice little, hey, how's it going? This is where you control basically everything you do with your interaction on the site. So there's an activity to see the recent activity on the site, so it takes a kind of list of everything that's happening. So you take friends, band, recreation, those kinds of things. So it's always good to check the activity. Actually, just cover over the So you've got personal mentions, favorites. So yes, everyone, there is a friend request and friendship status on the site. So it operates much like Facebook. You see the person and click friend request. They have to approve it, and when they do approve it, and then you guys are connected and you can message each other privately. Okay. So this thing is sort of profile. This is a profile page. Once again, it's kind of a model based question.
Where is the profile page?
So if you go up and to the right, on the right hand, you'll see that so the profile page is going to be it's the second drop down. So you can either view your profile, edit it, or change it. So you can.
It's a little different on the iPad.
Yes. Yeah. Now this is a mobile view. Are you on an iPad right now as well? So it does look a little bit different. Probably the menu is more of a mobile menu, so it's like a little block with the 3 lines. Someone else had a question. I saw another hand up. No?
You have a friend already?
Right, so as you can tell here as well, there's a friend request, so we'll get a notification. You can go into it and say,
yeah, I know.
I know it's never.
No, it's your second.
I used to work at the Marcus.
You made it here.
What's it use?
Anybody's asked that? So if you guys are getting an internal server error, this site is still on my development server. It's not even final production. So it will be moved to the final server. It's final resting spots.
Sandra Pearson and I are in pain. Are you?
We are. Are we linked in?
It was obviously intense.
I never go when I walk.
Really good. Well, I don't know. I guess so.
They give you all these suggestions.
This stuff happens.
Or you may give them access to it.
Oh,
No, I wouldn't do that. for one and for a random one.
Random one.
He's trying to get
Do that to an internal
Do you want to bring your deal? You should be able to take it. Oh, there it is. So these are.
A little bit of history, a little bit of information on the leadership. Right now, we only have two images that represent the president and vice president. So once we're trained here, you just have to
been president since 1976.
So this is just an article that was provided to me for the early history, so just basically recaps from the beginning. There is a section in here for past presidents and so forth, but I think you should go down and we'll see it.
Where's Shelley? Here we go. Shelley, here they are. So Shelley's 2004.
That's when I started.
So the resource section is basically a shared Google Drive section. So we're going to be a folder in there for everyone to access with important documents, stuff like that. That will add. So you can load all the folders that are available. I think there's only one folder there, and then I'll send that.
The first president.
Yeah. So basically, just that's the Google Drive. Go back to the next. So there's a full event calendar. So meetings, even events that members might want to share with other members can be added. Right now, there's no events in there. There is a full back end for the administrator to go in and add an event. If somebody has something that they want to add quickly, the best way to do it is maybe just email me. Send me a quick email, say I want to add this event to the site, and I can go in and respond to it. There's a list view, there's also a calendar view. And once events are in there, it'll pop you. You'll be able to click on the event. If it has its own website, you go to that website. The next is gallery. So really, it's just basically a spot to share photos of past events. Once again, there's nothing in there right now, but in the event that there's any type of social gathering or new speakers, you want to share some of photos with the group, they will be uploaded there. Now we come to the so really, the forums is an area where it's a public forum for you guys to share ideas, strategies. I mean, and topics can be anything and everything. So you can create a topic, and then people will be able to respond to comments, place comments, review, and share. So if anyone has any great ideas for some beginner coffee.
Renewed or renewed?
You have a new math strategy?
I think it's not on the website, but it's available. Was the ability to create. I didn't know if that would be, important here. But if for any reason it could be a group, like maybe a group discussion or project, there is that ability on the site as well. It just has to be unlocked. So if there's a special committee that's going to plan an event and want to create a group for it, that is also awesome.
How's that going for you? That's what he wanted to say.
Membership, they're friends with us.
Use all the members. Right now there are 20 members. 41 members on the site.
Yeah,
and obviously from this list you can add friends. You can see your friends, see them on the site. Any questions about the friend aspect of it? I think most of us are having this.
Just says Rossidized neighbors, no problems.
And they decline. You know what's gonna happen? Never
Chad, you're my only friend.
Chad and Mary are friends.
Little silence is friends.
So this is just the activity page. It shows all the open activities on the site. You can friends, left comments, left posts.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So this is pretty much the catalog. So I encourage everyone to go through and use it. If you find anything that's tweaked and bugged, something that doesn't work, update the blog. I'll get to it right away. I think we're pretty much ready for production mode. But I'll leave it to you guys. Any suggestions on something you'd like to see happen? I can hear that as well.
Great.
Does anybody have any questions? Any comments? Something you'd like to see?
So I'm thinking out loud here, but like we've got like our education center, like that. So those are all like things that we want to add to this on the public page. Readers or something. But I think as a membership group, we can kind of those things or they come to mind, send them along to the executive, and then we'll send that. We'll get like a.
Feedback over there.
Mockingbird.
We'll put that along. We'll say that. We'll put that along with the and we'll be in close collaboration. Next thing is an email away. You see things like do that, but like we've used a lot of different tech tools this year. We've used we've used PAD, we've used other resources. The nice thing here is that we'll be able to house those conversations in our forums and in our the back end of our website so that you look back about last week's conversation or last month's conversation. There'll be documented record of it. Not trying to think what was that conversation about. Yeah.
Remember like assuming the agenda and things like that would be housed on here too. Is that like where the Google, like, or where the drive was? Is that
right? Yeah. Under resources, that's a link that Google Drive. So you could access that to the shared members Google Drive way. Right. Or if you're this OMCA site. Yeah.
That's the next thing.
Yeah. I think something like this, like I know in terms of our memberships, I think it's been limited to areas where people can kind of come to our meetings, right? But I think that's a pretty big province. I think it moves beyond kind of the Golden Horseshoe 401 corridor and access some of the resources we have in our pockets of the province. The tool like this comes up as well. We were talking about OMCA next year. I don't know if OMCA has it in.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Three, but I don't know.
You do have three? Okay. But again, yeah, so things like that, right? So looking at branching a little bit and including those people who are not necessarily geographically able to join us.
Yeah. So I'm not sure of those logistics, whether you can or can't, but I think like some of the most powerful moments in OMCA is always when we have our guest speakers after a meeting. Is there potential to look at maybe downloading those presentations? We're already kind of casting them out as it is for Adobe, maybe recording it, offering that as a place to visit. And I realize like some might not want that. But really, like that, if I was living in Thunder Bay, I would love to see a presentation like that. And I would love to be able to revisit because there's like one presentation that always has to create my bring up here. Yeah. Plus the notes and the presentation slides and those types of things that we can then access.
We try to get things like speaker slides on the Google Drive. So sometimes I got groups that so much video embedded in your PowerPoint. He's having a hard time getting to us. This is awesome. Obviously, that commission for the presenter, but I think that presenter was okay with it, and we were able to record it using some technology we have. And that was good.
Don't get behind the walls, right? Yeah.
Well, that's the trick is getting the presentation.
Once we solve that issue, I mean, we can just create a private area. Because there are private areas on the site already, so that theoretically it should be.
We tend to use Adobe Connect, so even just making a link to the rendering that Adobe creates.
I'm wondering if we did have this Google permission to videotape presentations, would it be maybe an idea of uploading it to like a Vimeo or a YouTube, and then it's simply just a link on the website as opposed to the server. Yeah.
The only issue would be, do you want to have those files viewable by the public at large, or do you want them viewable under?
Make them private. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So the only way you can access them is through the link within the members panel, right?
Yeah. So obviously we'll look at all those different avenues and use what works for us, right? So, yeah.
So we were talking about porting over the other site where we had the articles, the outreach, the articles in.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want, are we gonna do that, like just create a forum for that? Or do we want that part of it, what is that? Or
the drive.
Like on the original meeting?
I would think that what Dan's talking about is there is a, maybe you can speak this a little bit in more detail because I think it was before my time, but there was an OMCA outreach wiki.
Yes.
That housed like articles and other resources.
Well, basically, it was articles in newspapers, etc., or in magazines that would be something that we should be aware of in our role with they'll reach to the larger community, because things might come in. I won't mention any things about people from Winnipeg, but, but I think it was just so, especially because it was mostly Dwight and I, we were retired, so we had the time to execute all that stuff. And then we posted a link to it with a little description so people could, I think it's just have that, people could go in. I mean, the one advantage would be if you did it as a forum, people could comment on it. And since it's internal, the comments would be okay. If you put it outside of that on the actual pull-down screen at the beginning, then it would be kind of more public access. So I think it still needs to be underneath, like an after the login, whatever we do.
I think it would make sense to put that either as a document in the Google Drive, in the resources area, or in the forum area where people can comment on. I will put that as a suggestion.
Okay. What does everybody else think?
Articles are public in the discussion.
Yes. So that's why if we did it in the forum, here's the article, here's a brief little, we could put in 2 sentences to describe the article, and then people could comment on it afterwards.
Yeah, you want to?
Okay.
So with the old site, is it possible just to put a redirect on it?
Poor Dan.
Yes.
Because we don't have the right to say no.
Yeah. What happened was, that domain name was purchased. And the person who did it 15 years ago doesn't so there's I can't just call and say on the purpose of because they requested documentation on the letterhead or our business. Remember, we're not really a business. We don't have a business, so we don't have an office, we don't have an address. So on their end, they're like, who is this guy calling, trying to change this website? And so long story short, we can't log in to modify what is currently there, nor can we redirect where that URL was pointing from the server on to the server that we're using. Nor can we modify the content on the home page. So it's kind of like and believe me, between November and March, I had multiple phone calls and they were all dead ends, unfortunately. So at this point, because the domain name registration was renewed for 5 years, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, we have to wait until it expires. And then when it expires in a certain window where the current owner can repurchase it, and then it goes into a pool. And generally speaking, the big guys, like the GoDaddies, they have first crack at it. And then if no one takes it, then it goes back out to the public, release back out to the public to purchase. I don't anticipate that that's where I think someone cut it up. Just because it's a whole other domain, pretty awesome. We should probably buy it anyways. I suggest it. Yeah.
Not expensive, is that I think in the past people buy it and redirect it nicely.
Yeah, I was trying to chat with
You're taking them down.
Like, it is possible that you just keep going about that. You guys redirect where.
We can get along with that. And then, there might even be updating process. Right? So, for other domains, they're hard to come by, right? Especially something like that. So, we might be lucky to find some different practice. We can't do social
Exactly.
There's been a lot of great questions, and I haven't been sending out some of those login requests that people didn't have. So if you could please ensure the question about the articles and so on, please put those in the Google Doc so we have that. I don't remember it. I don't know about these guys. If you're Sean, might be because this is his baby, he's working on it. He knows it inside and out, but if you could do that, it'd be great. Thank you. Sorry.
Any more questions?
Most associations.
Comments, ideas?
That's awesome. That's
There is a part there where the only.
All right, well, again, on behalf of all of us, thank you for the work you did, and continue to do.
There's already a link to OMCA.
The feedback.
All right.
All right, great, thank you, Sean.
No, actually, no, that's not entirely true. You guys appointed, well, we were talking about the training session.
Yeah.
Anyone can do the editing, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be.
Is that to keep you busy if I kept emailing you saying, can you put this, can you put that? Can you put this, right?
Right.
With that.
Also,
No,
Whoever's gonna have access to that.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see here. So moving into our final pieces of the afternoon.
Why is it here?
What did you have looking back here for? What is that? All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So
I just turned it right down and that's we're still getting.
we'll go into our first portion of the afternoon, looking back, looking forward. I didn't prepare a PowerPoint presentation, or I don't want to sort of take your time up with that sort of thing. I just wanted to kind of highlight a few things. Some of the parts that I found relevant this year that I enjoyed, and a few thank yous to throw around. First of all, again, I mentioned it before, but this has been a tremendous year of learning and growth for me personally. Being able to connect with and bring in our featured speakers through the year, being able to connect with and bring in our featured presenter for the OMCA retreat, and all of the preparation work around that was totally foreign to me. I had never been involved in something of that scope before, so it was a great experience. The intent at the start of the year, we mentioned this, I think in this meeting last year, was to make these meetings as relevant and useful as possible to our members. And so I think, again, talking to Mark about our membership numbers, but then also our attendance, I think that hopefully some of that data reflects that you found these meetings useful. And as always, we talked about this even at lunch, as always, if you have any suggestions or comments or concerns or thoughts to make this a better experience for the work that you do, please bring that forward to us today or through email over the summer or to the new executive in the fall, because at the end of the day, it's this group is here to support your work. And so I just tried to kind of bring in people that I thought would help do that a little bit. We're going to send out a survey and look for feedback. And again, we don't want just ego feedback. We don't want to say it was great. We want to know, where can we improve? What things worked? Start times, end times. Speakers, were they relevant or not? And if they weren't, did you see somebody at OMCA that you thought would be a great voice to bring into this group to share some of that learning? So again, looking at the course of the year, we were able to bring in people like Alison McCauley back in London. She spoke about her work with the grade 9 applied students. Christine Sertam joined us in Oshawa and talked about their project. We brought in Kyle Pierce and John Orr, who were able to join us on extremely short notice, but they're both dynamic educators, so if you haven't had the opportunity to do some learning with them, I highly, highly recommend. They're fantastic. We brought in Kathy Marks-Kerpan, Connie Quadrini, Ruth Beatty, Kathy Bruce, and Zach Hawes were able to join us at the OMCA retreat, and John Scammell as well from Alberta with the assessment work he had done in Alberta. So I think when I look at that roster of people, I thought that it was a great opportunity to learn together. And again, I thought that bringing in those people would be way more fun than listening to like my voice. So that's why I thought that it would be yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I actually had a OYAP math forum at one of the colleges last week, and I started off with just why is Dan here, because that's the question that's usually asked when I show up in a room. Why is this? Who is this guy? So obviously, I want to send a heartfelt thanks to my executive, Chad, as Vice President, Tina, and Mark for all the work that you guys have done. It's definitely a team for sure, as well as to Eric and Mike Davis, who have been on call for us this year as well. I know that you tried to get out, but every once in a while we had to rope you back in as needed, although we tried not to harass you too much. Again, excited to be able to leave the executive with this new website in place. So I think that hopefully that'll be a tool that will facilitate communication and collaboration for our group for years to come. And you know, I know you only met Sean today, but I'll tell you firsthand that I've worked with him now for 7 months on this project, and he's been very, very supportive. And I think that he'll continue to be supportive of the work that we do. So if you have feedback for him or for us around the website, please feel free to pass that along. So at this point, I mean, I'm looking forward to supporting the new executive and the work that they do. I'm looking forward to heckling a little bit from the back of the room as needed. I learn from the best, right? And again, so just a final pitch, like, I know that the people who are here for next year are always looking for ways to make this group, you know, have high quality in terms of the professional learning that we have. So if you have ideas, bring them forward. Be a voice. If you've participated, if you've led professional learning that you think has been relevant, bring that forward, because the more we can collaborate and share as a group, the better off we're all going to be. And I know that we all work for separate districts, but we all kind of push towards that same goal. And hopefully, if we're all pushing in the same direction, we get that movement that we truly want. So I just want to end by saying thank you for the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to my retirement. I know that Chad, we call him the Donald Trump of OMCA politics. You might need to fix that hair, but I'm sure you build a wall between literacy and numeracy, everyone will be happy. Wow. That's right. That's the renewed math strategy, right? So at this time, I will pass it along to Chad to oversee the awards.
All right, so we'll take care of our OMCA awards right now.
Well, we can just say a few words.
Okay. Well, just to kind of piggyback on what Dan's saying, I'm looking forward to the upcoming year and continuing to share the great learning that OMCA offers, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with Tina and Mark and our future. Yes.
Because I do want to, I'm just interrupting him, which we do all the time, but clarity has not been one of my strong suits over the last few weeks, so I think in the email I sent out and in my little announcement this morning, it may have been understood that I was moving on to a VP role in a school. That's not the case. I'm actually going to be VP of the executive of OMCA here. So if you weren't sure, that's what it meant, and I apologize for any confusion. Wow. Because you may have noticed we were advocating for secretary, but not advocating for VP, and you may have been very confused as to why that was the case. So I wanted to clear that up. There you go.
I didn't even know.
I know.
Well, I'm excited to have Tina as my VP and keeping me in line, and Mark and the future executive too. And I won't take up too much more time other than looking forward to next year, and yeah, should be good. So we're going to take this moment now to share our OMCA award winners. We put out a couple months ago nominations for educators that we would like to appreciate and acknowledge for their work that they do in the field of mathematics education. And so that's all I'm going to say, and I'm actually going to have the nominators say a few things about the people they have nominated. So we'll start actually with Tina.
Okay. So as again I said earlier, I'm not actually big on clarity right now. So I'm actually going to read because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something. This particular person that was nominated by Matthew and myself has, from the first time I've met this person, made me feel valued and was an inspiration. She's a critical thinker, she's a lifelong learner, a forward thinker, very well dressed all of the time, and apparently can wear something different almost every day for most of spring without it moving anything in her closet, and is extremely compassionate. And if you have ever heard any stories she said about her own children, you will see how much compassion, love, and support she has for her family, which has extended greatly into her work world. So Mary Fiore, who we've nominated, and she's been an active, this is where I'm going to read, she's been an active and passionate member of the Ontario mathematics community for the past several years. She's been a classroom teacher in both panels, a department head, is currently the coordinator of mathematical literacy at Peel, an ABQ facilitator, has done some writing as well for courses. Right now she's at OISE doing that. She's a former director at large for Learning Forward Ontario, and she is an author. Writing is her new passion. During this time, she completed her master's in ed in mathematics education and always has been an avid member of OMCA, including past president. Her research in mathematical thinking has brought with it a tremendous amount of learning within the community of learners that she is a part of. PDSB educators and students have benefited from her leadership and the learning opportunities she has championed, including a summer math camp with Marion Small. From her appearance on CTV, if you never got to see that, supporting Ontario mathematics education, you might want to Google it and see if it's still out there. Very well done. Like, it was on the fly and not prepared, and her answers were fabulous. Her article publications on mathematical thinking and the numeric learner are through Teach Ontario Talks and the Catholic Principals Council. And more recently, her book publication with colleague Maria Louisa Labar around the 4 roles of the numeric learner. We can safely say that she is only beginning her true impact on the professional learning of our province's mathematics educators. And further to that, she has been an incredible friend to both me and Matthew and Mushel, who is, this is a surprise because we didn't even let her know that we nominated her, but she's been an incredible friend for her as well. And it's just been a great opportunity to work with her on a daily basis, to have her come into our math office, and boy, do we laugh a lot. And if we weren't able to do that, I really don't know how we would make it through some of these times. So Mary, on behalf of us and OMCA, come on up and accept your award.
Not very often that I get caught off guard and left speechless, but this is going to be one of those moments.
So for our next award, actually ask maybe Ross and Greg or anybody else who'd like to come up and to present our next award.
Oh dear.
Greg?
So the first question, Greg, I think you should address is why I'm wearing this.
Well, Ross and I are part of the team in developing resources, and the programming language we use is called Flash. And Kay Appleby coined the term the Flashers. So, and she actually provided these outfits.
Those explain why you're not wearing.
Because my short-term memory is very, very short. It's going to be talked about this guy utility 5 seconds later when I was upstairs, I completely forgot.
That's the story.
That's the story.
Greg and I are really happy to nominate Agnes for the Innovation and Excellence Award, and even more delighted that she's the recipient. Agnes grew up in Montreal, Ontario, on the Treacherous Road, fraught with traffic accidents. At least one I suspect you'd rather not want to mention.
We've known Agnes since her University of Waterloo days. I first met Agnes when I was a local frosh, staying at St. Geraldton's residence, and she was a much wiser resident across the quad at Notre Dame.
Agnes and I were classmates in the teaching option class in 1985, and all three of us attended her wedding. In 1985, although Greg and I didn't know that we'd met until 1999.
I kept in touch with Agnes after graduation. It helped that we each had children close to each other, 3 children each. Our oldest children were born just a couple months apart, same year. Our oldest daughters almost shared a birthday, just one day off. And our youngest sons were both born on the same day of the month. The child now was that bed, it's my goddaughter. As our families grew, it became a Clark and Grafton tradition to spend some holiday together each year. The wheels in over March break and over March break really young. To motorhoming across Canada for summer and get old enough to fall off. It is a very exciting person if you're and Agnes became a board consultant and Grant Hall in Norfolk Catholic School Board in 2006. And we got to work together,
I became reacquainted with Agnes as part of the PRISM project. PRISM is an acronym that I take credit for. Although, like so many things, like so elaborate, it's I actually had a very interesting project coming up with the youth candidate and just for work. You might even say it was innovative. In 2007, Agnes attended her first class at Tab 2. This is before we provided us with staff uniforms. And despite a shocking leadership set event, Agnes demonstrated her ability to learn and embrace that new.
By 2009, Agnes was released to ministry work. She's had an end in numerous initiatives, including math, storyboarding groups, Great Night Project, on our team, we have come to rely on common sense for insightfulness and attention to detail. As we present our work, Agnes makes sure that we do the math, utilize effective facilitation tools, and allow sufficient time to hear objectives.
So our team adopted the MAR moniker, the initial first initial of our name, and it's stuck because we have, in my experience, these rare collaboration. We tried very hard not to adopt the pecking order, despite Agnes being so much more talented than the constant group. Can you hear her making comments? We do make, on occasion, a joke about her having 3 votes, R1, but that's just being justifiably deferential. We think that this collaborative, respectful work environment allows us to create some innovative and excellent digital resources for the province that are much enriched by Agnes's stay.
Ross and I could go on and extolling the virtues of Agnes and come up with a list of superlative traits we valued about her and her contribution to our team, some of which we've already mentioned. The rest allow me to list for you now. Communication skills. What's the purpose? Asking the hard question, the important questions. She keeps the classroom at the forefront of her thinking. Has a great learning disposition. She plays well with others. She's the glue that holds our group together. And above all, she has bucket loads of patience for us near home. All of this and so much more make Agnes the most deserving recipient.
I was busy in the blog.
Yes, I didn't think I was supposed to read that.
See how sketches are.
It's my pleasure to be part of that team, and I don't so I don't know. It is also a great honor.
And last but not least, we had, as an executive, a tough time deciding who to give these awards to, and so we did settle on awarding a third winner. So we're going to ask maybe some representatives from Thames Valley to kind of come up and say a few words about their nomination.
We're very proud to be able to honor a colleague of ours within OMCA, the Award for Excellence in Education, and Key Johnson, a long-time member of OMCA. presenter at OMCA and a strong voice locally, and commercially for showing the improvement in mathematics education, being recognized today for her significant contributions to learning experience and styles of the kids in Thames Valley and to professional development of her colleagues as well. And has blazed her own trail from the beginning of her career, resisting the urge to go with the workbook dominated program in favor of one that's more focused on conceptual understanding, mathematics, tools, strategies. Her work led her to support a team that became a school on the move in Thames Valley, and she worked her way into leadership, joining the primary math task force, a group that she would later lead in Thames Valley. So Anne's influence is felt in her role as a learning coordinator for mathematics K-8 in Thames Valley, and as a trusted voice of mathematics and teaching across the province, across Canada. She also is a professor of mathematics education at Western University, and promoted the power of collaboration in mathematics long before it became cool. So she tells the initial CILs that happened in Ontario, where the walls, the windows were blacked out, like so many bodies in the room watching kids learning new mathematics, and she's helped establish the model as being the prime model for helping move teachers' understanding of what they can do in the classroom. She spearheaded work to provide learning outside of the school day. She comes on a litmus test for technology in Thames Valley, so if she can do it, anybody can do it. That's kind of her motto. But the fact is that she tries to do almost anything without there to do, right? So she's a risk taker. She helped spearhead after school opportunities that reached out from the big borders. She went where the action was instead of having people always come to the center of London, so that we can meet in fair way. She helped make a local event and Adobe Connect sessions. People who couldn't get there, that they could get there remotely. Her work in our helping get our focus math project off the ground to get full conversations happening with math as opposed to a few willing people around the board was a big deal, right? So this project has been a great success in our board. We're really hoping that we get to continue this work that she helped start for us. Family Math Night in a Box became a big thing as well. So putting a lot of work ahead of time for schools to be able to say, yeah, we could run a Family Math Night, a whole bunch of stuff ready for us to run, but we could tweak it if we want. But a bunch of the land with them, she's helped with that resource together for our schools. Recently, she completed her Master's of Education in Mathematics, and in that work, she came to see that our whole relationship as being such a big deal for the hurdles that kids are facing as they move through elementary school math. And during our pause this fall, we couldn't do a whole lot, and took that on the road and became her traveling road show. Our whole relationship where she would go and support kids in understanding structure, but was something that the operations country that they did. And they started with every question, and we would challenge this face instead. And you see these are all very similar problems. And underlying structure here that I can to help you understand what's going on. Lastly, her work to develop assessment tools has been a huge gain for us this year. We've been working on a grade 3 to 8 assessment tool in Thames Valley, again, using technology that we hadn't used before, to try to give teachers instant access to good data about what students know and can do, and also give them next steps. So my kids are struggling with X, here are some things I can do to support them with it in a very quick, teacher-friendly fashion. So we look forward to reading the fruits of that work. It's fitting to say that Anne is joined by her friend Barb C. They've been colleagues for a long time in Thames Valley, and they're giants in the mathematics world, and personally have been mentors for me. So I'm so glad both of you could be here today. I've learned a great deal from the two of them. I'm glad that Barb could be here to help us celebrate Anne. Bethany, Bill, and I are also here from Thames Valley, and on behalf of our whole math team, we wish to congratulate Anne on this well-deserved award today. It's our loss. She's with our she's in Ontario, but they're up today. Thank you.
This board is such an exciting time. I think to be math educated these days. Math is on the move, with the multiple representations that we were talking about earlier, and the technology. I would have called you tibbers or flashers, whatever. and all the work with growth mindset and positive attitude. So it's a fabulous time. Thank you to the Extension Major team. Thank you very much.
Yes. All right, so the passing of the gavel an actual thing?
Yes.
Okay. Almost. Yeah.
Don't you remember receiving it?
I don't remember. No. It's been a year. All right. Well, I guess with that, the final thing we're going to do this afternoon is the passing of the gavel. So. I feel like I have to do something special with it. I don't know.
Please don't.
Is it like the
Please don't.
you do this? Well, it's been a great year. Thanks for all the learning and sharing and support. And there you go. Best of luck.
Awesome. So maybe the Penguins will be doing tonight what I'm doing now, right? So thank you very much, and like I have already mentioned before, I'm looking forward to a good year next year and all the learning that we can do together. And I guess my first act of as president is to conclude this meeting so you can all go home. So thanks everyone. Have a good summer, and we'll see you in the fall. Dano?
And we still need a secretary.
So yes.
Or a tech support.
Stop broadcasting.
I signed up.
Yeah. Stop broadcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back into the blazing trails right now. Yeah, so I think that's really good. Yeah.